All right, what is going on, guys? We're a few minutes late, but that's how we roll in the crypt, as you guys know. We know that already. We're usually always a couple minutes late, but that's just fashionably late for us. It feels like it, well, it has been a couple days. We were doing shows every night, and we do have a busy week, and we're starting the week off right, or at least the Tuesday off right. And we got a guest that we've had on a few times, one of my favorite people. She's come to the cons with me. I'm just looking for the applause, so I'm on the ball here. So we're going to bring her up again. You guys have seen her all over the place. She works with Acrostar, just killing it with all these films. And we're going to be talking about Perfect Soul. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Myrna.
Hey. Thank you.
Getting better. B would be awfully proud of me.
Hey, John.
So it's been what? It's been a few months, but it feels like a while since I've had you on because you're one of my close friends, or I consider you a close friend, and I always love seeing what you're up to. And you're such a busybody, just doing not just acting with Lynn Lowry and all these talented young actresses, but you're on the go marketing and networking and being, I'd say, the mother hen of Acrostar, if that's a good
fair assessment.
Yeah. And we have a surprise tonight too, because we weren't sure if this cast member in Perfect Souls was going to be able to make it. So we're going to add her to the tagline. But we're going to welcome her up here, and I'm excited to get to know this talented young actress. We're going to bring up Chloe Lutz.
Hello.
Crowd. Give you the round of applause.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, we do a fancy here. We do a fancy. We like to, do standing ovations sometimes. We gave you a round of applause for you. But welcome to the show. I believe this is your first time on, right?
Oh, yeah. And I'm so excited.
Well, Ann tends to bring all these young, talented actresses and actors that she's been able to work with. And we're going to be talking about this new film that you guys are working on, Perfect Souls. It's on Indiegogo right now, in demand. You guys are raising money real well. But I know you want more support from us fans out here, the indie family, to help make this project awesome. So, Ann, tell us a little bit about Perfect Souls.
Okay, I've got my prop here. So Perfect Soul is based on the novel by S.J. Herman, which is Steve Herman from Acrostar Films, my business partner. And he wrote the book several years ago. It's a really creepy story about deception and revenge. And he's always wanted to see his books on the screen. So this is actually the first novel of his that we're adapting to film. And we're really excited to have Chloe playing the lead character, Nikki Strange. And Nikki leads a very sheltered life. She lives with her parents in a very kind of protected town, kind of isolated town. Everyone there is very religious, but they're kind of hiding behind religion a little bit. And it turns out that Nikki has some heritage that kind of comes to visit her and educate her on how she's being deceived. And she kind of goes down a path that's quite different from her normal life.
So her life's been a lie, huh?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Oh, I like that. So, Chloe, how long have you been an actress for, and how did you get involved in this film?
Well, I've been trying to be an actress for, I guess it started with theater, so I guess it was when I was like 10, 11, 12, something like that with school. And then with film and television, I tried to start at 13. Didn't get anything until I was 16. And then I've kind of had the ball rolling since then. And then Michelle Hefner actually reached out to me and was like, hey, so there's these people I work with and I'm going to pitch you to them. And I was like, oh, okay, great, cool, fantastic. Well, actually, I guess she said that after SJ had already messaged me, because he messaged me a whole thing and was like, hey, we're looking to cast another character in our zombie film. This is, we've done this before, all this. And I was like, I don't know these people, but I trust Michelle. So I was like, I'll take a chance. and it's absolutely one of the best groups of people I've ever worked with. Such a fun environment, such an open environment. I've excelled and grown as an actor working with them. So being involved with them is one of the best things I've had happen, I think. And so on Corn Zombies, I helped kind of lead that film. And then SJ, I guess, saw Nikki in my performance and was like, hey, you should you should audition. And when I read the book initially, I will say I was a little nervous just because of the topic, and I was so young, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to take on as well as as they thought I was going to. But I talked with SJ, we worked through things, and we were able to come to the consensus that I will be playing Nikki. And I'm really grateful that I am, because she's been a great character to learn about, and it's kind of completely different than I've ever played. So really fun to explore that side of myself as well.
Well, I've gotten to know the Acrostar family, especially Anne. So you've gotten in with a great group of talent, really. And they're so loyal to each other, and it really is a family. And I've gotten to know Anne, and no matter how much she punches me and beats me, and Anne's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And I'm so glad you're involved with Acrostar. I'm glad your experience has been so well with them, because I mean, everybody I've talked to and gotten to know them, it just seems like the best place to really learn and grow as an actor and actress with what they're doing. And they've grown leaps and bounds in the last 2 years here.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of following them before, but when SJ reached out to me, I didn't connect the dots that he was Acrostar. And so when he reached out to me, I was like, okay. And then I realized he's Acrostar, and I was like, oh, whoa, like it was so much bigger than me. And then I realized, and so I was like, okay, I'm taking on a lot more than I was expecting, but it's been a blast. And like on the first day of Corn Zombies, I'm really wanting to learn SFX, and they let me help out with SFX, which was a really cool experience.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the indie and the projects. And like I was just saying about them, I mean, the extra things you get to learn on top of being an actor and actress, what goes on behind the scenes, and really learning how filmmaking's done, and having great teachers out there. I mean, Anne's really become a serious pro at what she does, and I love watching her work with the young actresses. I really love the Sorority Babes. I thought her and Lynn Lowry were fantastic together with the young cast, and they work so well together. So I'm excited, because I haven't seen Attack of the Corn Zombies yet, and now with Perfect Soul coming out, and Steve's such a great writer, I can't see what you bring to the stage.
Yeah, and Chloe mentioned a really important thing, in that when you adapt a book to film, there are modifications that are made. So Steve has also talked to me a lot about how when he writes, like, his imagination can just go wild. Like you can write anything, because you can imagine anything. But when you have to film something, you have to think about the practicality of filming it and how you can get the message across in film versus in writing. And so there are some things that we kind of tamed down a little bit from the book, just because, again, we want the actors to be all, comfortable with the scenes. We're very open in terms of, and we actually encourage people, let us know if there's anything that you're not comfortable with whatsoever. Let's talk about it, and let's see what can be done, to, have a mutually beneficial kind of an outcome. But then also, like, we have budgets, which kind of comes back to the crowdfunding thing. Certain effects would be very expensive to pull off, and we would need to pull in, a lot more crew people, like stunt people, and like fire safety kind of people or whatever for this particular film. And that's just not within our reach. We would love to have bigger budgets so that we could have bigger crews, so that we could have a higher quality product in the end. But that's not in the cards right now. We would definitely know how to spend the money if we had it. Because again, we would bring in professionals. We wouldn't try to DIY that kind of stuff.
You've proven it already, though, with really little to no budget. And there's a few filmmakers like you guys that I've seen who really earn their stripes in showing people what you can do. So, I mean, I personally have no doubts that if you guys had a big budget, you know, the sky's the limit with it.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing on the budget you have had, you've always made it work. You've always gotten the projects done, no matter what it takes, and you get them out and released quickly, and they're high. You know, for what it is it's quality films with really so many different stories. But Steve's skills as a creator, a creative writer, and you being able to help layman's term and edit it down to understanding on a film, I guess, with the book and stuff. So, you know, you do have that team, but you guys have great writing without the budget, but with the budget, without rambling on, I can only imagine what you guys would do, honestly.
What Acrostar does is really, I think, super impressive, because not only is there like quality in the work, the storytelling is amazing. SJ's writing has never not completely thrown me around like in every emotion ever, and I've just been so impressed with all the storytelling and the character making in it all. But also they focus so much on taking care of their cast, which I do think is pretty common, but sometimes not as common as you would think in indie filmmaking. And you guys make sure all of us are fed at least one meal, like, and then you guys make sure we have somewhere to sleep where we're comfortable, and then everything. Yeah, going back to what you were saying about you guys making sure we're comfortable with everything. Anytime there was a uncomfortable scene or anything, SJ very quickly messaged me about it and was like, hey, if you have any questions or any concerns, just let me know and we'll work through it. And like that's a really important thing to me as an actress, just to make sure that we're comfortable enough to explore these characters for the story on screen.
Well, with this character, because I haven't read the book yet, it sounds like there was a lot of challenging things in the book that tested your skills, you know, even if it was toned down. So was that cool to be challenged in different ways that you weren't really expecting, in a sense, in your career, or at first, where you're doing these roles where, all right, I'm an actor or an actress, and it's not the most comfortable thing, but I'm going to play it the way I can. But you challenged yourself to do things that, you know, you didn't know you could do.
Yeah, it was really cool, and to have already worked with them, it made it an even more comfortable space. And a lot of the people that were brought on I've already known, or they were just really easy to get along with. So that was really nice. Like the people who played my mom and dad, Kelsey and Dan, they were amazing and super comfortable to work with. But yeah, in horror films, I was always jumping to get killed or like be covered in blood or anything. Like that stuff never bothered me. Any of that was always, I was so fast, like any way to die, I was all for it. Getting kidnapped, I was all for it. But the stuff that Nikki faces in this book and movie adaptation, she gets abused in ways I, never thought maybe I'd get the role for, and that type of stuff, or never thought I'd be comfortable enough. But because I've worked with them, I'm able to explore that in a setting where I can and find that I actually can push myself to those extents. And it was really cool. The scene that I filmed with Dan and Kelsey, that one specifically, because I didn't know how that was going to play out. I was really nervous about it. Because I've never flirted with anyone on screen. So that scene with Hunter, that hasn't come out yet, but it is in the book. So there's a little bit of a flirtation that Nikki has, and I've never experienced that or like done that on screen or anything. So that was fun to explore. And that scene was just overall bounds and leaps of anything I've ever done, with both the emotion and like what I had to go through mentally for her character to go through what she did in the scene. And then the scene with Dan and Kelsey, it was very just so upsetting. And as I am in real life, it's a very uncomfortable thing. And I really hate that this character goes through it, but I wanted to bring as much realism and everything, because I know people go through this in real life, and I wanted to give them kind of an advocacy in a way by giving it as of a real performance as I could. So kind of got into that, and it was really interesting because I've never done that before, but I appreciate it, and it was fun. It was fun to be able to do that, I guess.
She wipes the tears off her face in between takes.
I mean, I've never had a problem with crying, but getting into that mental state where Nikki was in that scene, that was really different and really hard. But I'm really grateful for the opportunity to, and to bring that new performance I've never done.
So it must have been real interesting, the person that could act, the character you're playing is so I'm guessing different than you.
Oh
But
yeah.
being able
Oh
to take
yeah.
yourself, and you haven't had experience, but to put yourself mentally into that experience.
Yeah.
And the thought,
I can go off like I kind of take bits and pieces. I watch people a lot in my life, and I do have people, or like I know of people. I read a lot of true crime, that type of stuff, so I know of a lot of people that have experienced similar stuff, and so kind of holding them in my heart during those scenes and like taking in what they've encountered and kind of being upset about it, that people go through that in that scene as well as experiencing it in that scene. Like it was a lot at once in a way, but I think I'll have a better grasp of it when we actually film the movie.
Yeah.
That was my first run at it too, so it was an interesting adventure.
Yeah, so far we have filmed what we call proof of concept scenes. So we want to give people a taste of what the movie will be like. So Steve chose, I don't even know how many scenes there were. We filmed for a couple of days, just choice scenes, but we did like the full
teaser
scene.
trailers.
Yeah, because like we wanted to be able to have a trailer, but if you just say, okay, Chloe, like just cry, like we need to see you crying, like that's not real. Like you have to kind of like do this the scene around.
As Anne's back there with the bear spray.
All the lead up.
Yeah, so we've got these handfuls of scenes, and what we showed first was the trailer. So that's like little snippet. Some awesome music that Edward Grant composed for us underneath that. And so now we're starting to release, as part of the funding campaign, these individual scenes. So again, like there's no context to the scene really, but you just get a much better insight as to like
the vibe.
some of the things that are happening. Yes, plus the look, the vibe, the tone, all that kind of stuff.
And with the context, that really made us meet each other and get comfortable for everything, the extent of what we're going to have to do together in the movie. So that was really nice.
Be very prepared. It's coming in dark. Well, I was like, I lost my thought with the one thing, but the one thing I was saying with Acrostar too is you guys do so many different types of movies. And that's what's great about working with them. There's so many different roles. It's not just horror. It can be pop culture. It came from somewhere, was, definitely a different movie than Desperate Souls. And then Desperate Souls, a big difference from Sorority Babes. Return of the Living Dead, Sorority Babes. Night of the Living Dead, Sorority Babes. Oh, screw it up. I can't do more than 3-word titles.
I got props tonight. So this is
that's why I just call it Sorority Babes.
Yeah, this is a limited run from Bayview Entertainment. Our first physical media from them that Lynn and I are going to have at a horror convention the first weekend in April at Cinema Wasteland in Ohio. So,
oh, you remember how long it took me to say Turpidity?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people seem to have a problem with saying that name. I've seen it a couple of times.
Oh, you should have seen the first interview. I couldn't say it, and I just couldn't get it. It just would not register in my brain to say it. Like I knew it. It was like blah 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 blah, and it just came out in like 7 different things. Kaopectate. I don't know, but I finally got that down, and now I got to get down the Sorority Babes title, because now we're talking like 5-6 words in one title. That's just crazy.
I know, it's rough, John.
You got to do the 2-word title for John. Make sure the words aren't too tough.
I completely agree with the whole. They're so drastically different. Like going from Kathleen to Nikki, not even close to the same ballpark of like personality. Like I felt like Kathleen was closer to what I'm like in real life, and then we go to Nikki, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm gone.
Yeah. So Perfect Soul will be the 8th feature film from Acrostar, which is pretty cool. Because
Well, how long has Acrostar been, in the production for? 2-3 years? Not.
Well, so Steve Herman started just by himself with Acrostar Films and made a couple shorts in a web series or 2, and I discovered them when he was working on something called Morium, which is a web series based on a trilogy of books that he wrote that are really, really good. I mean, all his writing is good, but I was like, wow, you know, like these are good stories. Because every now and then, as an actor, like you get a script and it's like, well, my part's kind of good. You know, it's a good fit, and the story is okay. But sometimes I don't know, ones that I've seen. You know, like the ending is like it didn't end, or there's something that just kind of like maybe there's like a jump, like there's something missing or whatever. And there's all kinds of reasons for doing that. But I just really liked Steve's writing. So I started stalking him, and he had a role that kind of fit me, although it was a little on the old side. And I auditioned, and he did not cast me, and I just offered to help. How can I help? And he's like, well, you could be a producer. So I Googled what that was because I didn't go to film school. I don't know these things. I picked this stuff up later in life. And so I'm good at organizing things. I used to work in information technology. Spreadsheets are my friend. So I started helping out just behind the scenes with stuff. So that probably goes back, it was kind of like right after COVID, you know, people were starting to do film stuff again. So it's been several years. And then just in talking to him more, we thought, well, maybe we should organize and actually be an LLC. So we did that in the beginning of last year.
Once Myrna took the reins and getting everything organized, that was big, and I mean that in a good way. I know a lot of people always have that one person, a lot of filmmakers, because creative writers and stuff, they're not the most organized. You get somebody like Ann, and you get that perfect matchup of somebody who's got their back the way she's got Steve's back.
Yeah, it's a good compliment.
Yeah, it's a great.
I'm not creative at all.
Yeah, but you two work so well together, you and Steve, and you guys have come so far. You know, I'm sure I don't have to ask him how grateful he is for all the hard work you do, and
yeah,
and able to help. I mean, what you guys do together as a team to put together the stuff, and I know how hard Ann works. I watched her work for a few years. I watched from Facebook. I watch her in real time. She sat with me at a few convention tables. She is a great marketer and representation of Acrostar when she's at this place. That woman means business. Just like she said with Steve Herman. She did have that bear spray we were talking about. She brought a taser. The crazy eyes, she brought those in, and a knife. And, you know, he's like, I'd love to have you on the team.
I just got earrings that are like little bloody knives. I'm gonna wear those at the next workout.
Just peeking through the window. You need me yet?
There's a picture out there. I don't remember who I did it with. I want to say it was Dee, but I also want to say it was Mel. I don't remember who else is in the picture with me, but there's a picture of you on a ladder when we were filming Corn Zombies, and you're fixing light, and we're like like praising him. And it's my favorite photo, and it's so true to us on set with her. She's that mom.
Yeah, when you were saying all the getting fed and sandwiches, I don't even have to ask. I haven't been on set. Ann's the mother hen. I guarantee she's the one who's always with the sandwiches. You need to drink, and then she's become quite the actress too. And I see her and Lowry scare me. I mean, after they scare me a little bit. I saw a scary side to Ann that I didn't know was there. And I don't know if it's acting. She pulled it off pretty convincingly.
Well, just wait until you meet Madeline in Perfect Soul.
Oh boy,
she's messed up, man.
She's probably. I mean, not that I've seen every role you played, but probably one of the messed up ones.
Yeah, her head's not on straight.
But are any of theirs though?
Fun. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Yeah.
I always have so much fun with the Acrostar movies, and I'm so glad you're part of the team now. And if they hired you and they've worked with you and they're using you again, it means you really showed them a lot of talent and
so.
a lot of
yeah. I mean, Chloe is so dedicated as an actress. I mean, number one, she bought and read the book before she auditioned. And
I read the book in 3 days. I was so excited. And
it's like 270 pages long. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of shows her commitment to what she's doing. She's not just like messing around as an actress. Like, she is seriously committed, and and I'm sure she approaches every project with as much enthusiasm and dedication as well. And it's just great to see, because sometimes us older folks are like, oh, those kids, they want to just like show up and be important, feel important, and then get the paycheck.
Having the damn kids.
That's not the case here at all. Yeah, I mean, the amount of effort that she put into that audition was amazing. Like, it really, really showed.
Thank you.
That kind of covers
I just think research is so important before you put yourself in a role that you don't even know if you're ready for, like prepared for. Because like I said, I didn't know if I was fit for this role, and I read the book and I was like, and then I talked to Steve and he was like, okay. And we kind of talked about it for a second, but I knew what I was getting into. And I think that's one of the most important things you need to know as an actor, so that one, you can give the best performance for the people you are performing for, like as in the crew, so that they are satisfied with the product. Like the writers, the directors, you want to satisfy them so that they're proud of their project just as much as you will be. So like as long as you do that and you make sure you're fit, I feel like you're set. And that's what I always try to do.
Now, honestly, reading the book, did you get yourself in a character where you're like, you saw some lines, I'm like, I'm gonna practice that line just so I can get it.
I read the book as Nikki. I don't know if that's weird, but I read the book knowing that I was auditioning for Nikki. There were some scenes that I literally read through as if I were acting them out, just to see how I could play her, and also to kind of practice for the audition, to kind of get in her mindset. But I did read a bit of the book through her voice, through her eyes, and then the other parts I was like reading it, so I couldn't really act them out yet.
I'm not ready for this scene yet. We'll go to see the next one.
But I'm prepared now. I understand it. I'm ready for it. Ready to give her story my all.
Yeah, and I found, like, whenever I talk to an actor or an actress and they initially get into a role, they talk after they do a role that's as challenging and out of like the norm or something they've done before. It's, the hindsight, especially when you're working with good people, is so amazing for their careers to grow as an actor or an actress, like I kind of mentioned before. So I'm excited that they're challenging you with these roles. And I've seen even with the sorority babes, I mean, that was a different, darker, I don't want to say it was darker than most of the films. I feel like, in a sense, visually too, it was, it was a very different Acrostar film.
Oh yeah.
So I love the variations that you guys do. Like I said, it's what I'm always excited about, because I thought Perfect Souls and Desperate Souls might be connected. I asked you before the stream, but it's not. So I'm looking forward to this fresh story of what he writes, because Steve's such a fantastic writer.
Yeah. I feel like there's just you guys just do a different way of storytelling, and it's so satisfying as an actor to experience, because there's hold on, let me get my words together. There's satisfaction for every character if they die or if they don't die. By the end of the movie, there is this sort of satisfaction for the actor playing that character, because there is a sort of ending at the end of your guys' writing, and or at the end of SJ's writing, and it's really great to experience. And I love that it's so different. Like, yeah, I was very cast for a little bit as like victim, kidnappee, like didn't fight back, just kind of dealt with it for a little bit, and then after that, like I got cast in Corn Zombies, and that was like a fighter role. So since then I've kind of been all around the place, because I feel like I was able to show a different side, and that was really cool, and I really appreciate it.
You went from 1984 Sarah Connor to Terminator 2 Sarah Connor.
Exactly.
Sweet and innocent to a badass. But yeah, it's like I said, I'm always happy when Acrostar's working on a new project and they have a new talent that Ann's been nice enough to bring on the shows. And it's really cool meeting you and talking about this project. And I can see how excited you are. And one of the things I was going to ask you, Ann, is what was the big thing with Chloe that really impresses you? And you pretty much explained it. She prepares for the role. It's not a hobby for her. She's taking it really serious. She's put a lot of responsibility on her own to prepare for the role. And I'm guessing her audition was pretty impressive too.
Oh yeah. I mean, and there she wasn't like the only one to audition. We had quite a few people, So the way we typically do is like we may approach someone and invite them to audition if we've seen their work before, we're familiar with them, or for some reason we think they would be a good addition to the team. But then we also post auditions, usually in our Facebook group, and to kind of describe the type of character, maybe a little bit about the situations. But again, to see that she took that initiative to go out, get the book, get her hands on it, read the whole darn thing. That it just spoke highly, in addition to just the acting.
Did you know as she was reading it or after that she read the book? Was it kind of a surprise? Like I did study for this
I
role.
found out after. So the auditions, since Steve's the director, the auditions go to him, and then he kind of culls through them. Well, first you like submit to just supply like your headshot, your demo reel if you have one, type of thing, and then he'll decide who he wants to actually send the audition scripts to, and then he gets the self-tapes back, and then he sends them to me, and then we kind of get together and we talk about them, and then we had callbacks, so it's like a second audition, but we do that over Zoom. So initially people tape themselves, and then after that, we do a Zoom audition so that, if there was something that he wanted to see an actor try, he could have them deliver their audition and then say, well, can we like take this part again? And this time, put anger as the underlying emotion in there, rather than sadness, type of thing. Cause there's a different way that comes across. So we can kind of play with people over Zoom. Because we're not geographically in the same locations. But yeah, I mean, he spends a lot of time on auditions. He's very careful. And in this case, since he had written the book several years ago, he's had these characters in his head for several years already. And so he's looking for very specific things that was not necessarily aware of.
You're not in his head to see what he sees. And
exactly. I can kind of, see it from a casting perspective, but again, the person who wrote it's just near and dear to their heart. And so, yeah, they look at the auditions a little differently.
But you've always been like that too with him. You let his mind be free and you support wherever you can and give your info.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, absolutely. Yeah.
Like we've talked.
Never try to squelch, any of his creative thinking, because it's just awesome.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that many times, how, me and you, how creative Steve is. And, he never sticks himself and pigeonholes himself in one genre or one box with filmmaking. I love that.
Right.
And having you to keep the things extra organized, the mother hen kind of deal, and letting him, do his thing. I mean, you guys have a great chemistry where you guys kind of work as a machine. You let him do his job. It seems like he lets you do your job, and then you come together when you guys need to discuss things, and then you find talent like Chloe.
Yes. Yeah. So he and I do. I mean, we're working on this stuff like every day. I mean, he works on it more than I do because it takes longer to do the writing. But yeah, just constant communication back and forth, little questions here and there. So what people don't see is that I'm trying to remember when he and I first, like in earnest, started working on this. Maybe last year, probably in June or so. We decided like, yeah, this is what we're going to tackle next. And a lot of it is just planning, like where could we possibly film it? The book has witches being hung and burned. Like, how are we going to do that? But there are things you can imply if you can't show. And again, due to budgetary constraints, we can't always show some of the negative things that happen, but we can convey, the emotion and the tone and all that kind of stuff, and make sure that people can tell what happened if they can't actually visually, see everything unravel. But there's a lot of unraveling that happens in this story, that's for sure.
I love stuff that has a fleshed out story and has, a learning lesson, experience lesson of, it's, I don't know anything. I haven't read the book. I didn't study like Chloe did, but I mean, from what I'm getting, there's a lot of evolution in this character. There's a lot of learning from this character and growth of what she's been thought that she knew that she doesn't know, and she's finding out, and quite a journey. and I guess witches burning. I mean, it's going to get crazy. But one of the things I was going to say, do you guys, I mean, I know he's always working on stuff. How many scripts do you guys actually have? And how do you pick, like, all right, let's do this one? Like you said, do you kind of go, we could probably film this on a good budget compared to this film that I think we're going to need a bigger budget? You ever go like that? Or is it just kind of like,
Yeah, definitely. So I've read a lot of his books, but then he also just gets ideas by watching films or Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like that's where it came from somewhere. Stuff came from. Attack of the Corn Zombies actually came from Beth Metcalf's mind a little bit, with Steve then adding on to that because we were filming It Came From Somewhere, and after filming, goofing around late at night, doing some drinking, hanging out at the fire pit, running through the cornfields with their cell phones making TikTok.
well, once you hit the cornfields, it's horror movie written all over it with alcohol and I mean, it kind of wrote itself.
Beth said zombies in the corn, and Steve's like, I can write that.
Filming in corn is also terrifying at night, by the way.
Yeah, that corn's really tall. It's like 12 feet tall. It's like there's a lot.
It's also not easy. Scratches,
True,
like having to run through.
Your arms
It was fun. It was really fun, but also I was like,
Yeah.
We had a lot of cornfields when I lived in upstate New York as a kid. Actually, our neighbors had one, and I cut through the cornfields. Luckily, never got lost because those things are easy to get lost in. You don't realize, especially when you're 7, 8-year-old kid nowadays, can't do that. But as kids in the 80s, we kind of did whatever we wanted. It was a different kind of life, and getting lost in the cornfields was always fun. It was always scary too because it's just. I hope I'm going in the right direction because you can get lost in them, but it just writes a horror movie in its own, whether it's Children of the Corn or, you can always have something really cool in a cornfield. I mean, it's very inspiring to write about.
Yeah. And I should add that just in case people are curious, Return of the Corn Zombies. So Attack of the Corn Zombies has been kind of like re-released by Bayview Entertainment. That was one of our films they wanted to pick up. So we're starting to see that show up on streaming platforms. I know it's on Amazon in the US, and then I just saw maybe yesterday or the day before that it's on Amazon for the UK as well.
Is it a Tubi?
Not yet. Bayview has kind of like a sequence that they release, and Tubi's later in the sequence, and like they know what they're doing. So that must be Steve.
I'm guessing.
I was gonna say I think that's Steve. It's actually just Acrostar. It's become a person.
Yes. Return of the Corn Zombies is another film that Bayview is going to release, and we are in some of the final stages of editing, like really fine tuning the editing. So we're looking to turn that over to them by the end of April, and then we kind of like get in the queue with them to start hitting those streaming platforms. So it won't be long, and we'll be able to see zombie movie number 2 from Acrostar.
I just can't believe how well you guys get those done and out so fast. And like I said, they're always entertaining.
He doesn't sleep. I mean, yeah. So like even with Perfect Soul, so we filmed for 3 days, and then he's got a trailer ready like 2 days later. I mean, hours and hours and hours of footage he went through to pull scenes and color treatment and get it put together and everything. And sometimes he pushes himself too hard and he needs to take a little break, but he's very dedicated to achieving goals. I mean, when you work for yourself, it's kind of easy to say, well, I don't feel like doing that today, and like nobody's going to be like a boss, like leaning over you going, did you get that done? You were supposed to do that today. You have to motivate yourself to come through with the promises that you make. And he's very good at doing that. And he doesn't want to let the actors down by having to wait years and years for a film to come out. So yeah, I mean, he just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, hopefully we can grow and we could actually like get to the point where maybe we could hire someone to do some of that editing, to take some of the work off his plate so that he can focus on the most creative aspects of it, which would be developing the stories. Sleep. Yeah, you wrote down sleep question mark.
Creative minds never sleep.
It is
They're always going.
Yeah. Yeah.
His speed is unmatched. I don't even. Every time he gets something to us, I'm like, "Where? What are you? How? Like, I just don't get it." It's just shocking. Like,
Yeah.
anytime I talk about Acrostar to anybody, they're like, "Wow." Like I'll tell people about the Corn Zombies movie, and some people kind of turn away from the idea of indie films because they don't think they're official, whatever. But every time I've told someone about Corn Zombies, they're like, that's really interesting, actually. And they love the idea that it's based in the Midwest and it's about something like that. Like, it's so different and unique compared to any other zombie movie out there. It's really, really cool. I love it personally.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for
I
it.
think people will love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, usually when I talk to Ann, it's like, "Oh, how's that film go?" "Oh, we're on to like the 15th project
Yeah,
already." 'Cause
exactly.
you guys go, go, go.
And they don't see it different because you guys do it all the time, but it's so impressive. It is so impressive. And I've been wanting to just like say that to you guys. You guys are so impressive. It's amazing to be a part of. I mean, so grateful and thankful that you guys brought me on, but it is so cool to watch because they will they're not secret about their process either. They'll talk to us about it on set and stuff, and it's really cool to hear the behind the scenes because you guys do it so fast and so efficiently too. It's really
Well,
cool.
the thing is, like, some people will say, "Well, why don't you why haven't you just like finish Corn Zombies and then start Perfect Soul?" Because if we did that, if we like really only worked on one thing at a time, there would be huge gaps in time in terms of when these things get released. So we do flip flop back and forth between the different projects, but they're in different stages at different times. So sometimes it's like heavy duty work for me to do, and then Steve is like not working on that particular film at that time because like we're to the point where I need to start breaking down the script and everything. He's mostly done with the writing. He may tweak here and there. We need to do planning for SFX and stuff, but yeah, we just it just seems
You guys just work. You guys work hard, and like we talked about, I mean, I'd love to see you guys get even a bigger budget because what you do, it's we'll call it a micro budget because you guys. I mean, you got to do what you do because you love it, and you and Steve obviously do, and you love working with the actors and actresses that you get to. That become family. You mentioned Michelle Hefner, and I've met her at some cons too, and she's one of the nice,
so wonderful,
talented family. And
oh yeah, gosh,
yeah.
they just like bleed talent. I don't even understand. It's like insane.
Incredible talents, yeah.
But yeah, it's impressive, and you guys deserve all the support you guys have gotten. You guys deserve to keep growing and grow larger than you guys would have ever imagined. Like, you guys deserve that with all the hard work you put in and the dedication and the love and passion you guys put into it all. It's really amazing to see.
Oh, thanks.
I'd just love to see you guys with a really, really nice budget to see what you guys would do. I would.
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine what you guys do with such a small budget. Like, even slightly raising that would be insane.
Yeah. Yeah,
and you could hire somebody to do the lunch, so you didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, if we could have one catered meal per film, that would make me so happy.
At least one day where Anne can just also relax and eat with us.
You can go down from 16, 17 jobs to 15.
But
I don't think she could slow down though if she wanted to, Anne. She's one of those people who's always got to be on the go too. Don't let her fool you.
Oh yeah. She doesn't sit down when we film.
Well, yeah, and my body tells me all about that after the fact. Yeah, it usually takes me like for every 3 days on set, it takes me 1 day to recover.
Yeah,
because you are on your feet a lot, and my job most of the time when we're not filming is sitting in front of the computer, so I'm just like parking it. Yeah, it's also just there's a lot of stuff. Minutia of detail to be figured out on the spot in the moment kind of thing. I prefer to plan everything out, but you can only plan to a certain extent. So part of me is like loosening up a little bit and like, it's okay if I don't know which shoes Chloe is going to wear for scene, 45 or whatever, we will work it out. We will figure that out.
You become a seasoned pro. There's not a pitch you haven't seen yet. You know how to handle the curveball if it comes at you.
Well, we haven't had very many disasters.
Well, you act through it. You're able to professionally make it look easy.
Yeah, and then I go cover in a corner and cry.
Why is Ann yelling? Oh, she's yelling at her body. Her body wanted to take a break, and Ann's like, no. So she's just yelling at herself, and just how she functions. She's got to get herself in gear.
Thankfully, there's always a good corner to hide in. So
Yes, there always is. Yes. So if people need their space, if anybody needs space for a while,
there's space somewhere.
space is granted.
Somewhere.
If you need me, I'll be in the corner.
But most of us don't even want space. When I've been on set, we're all like the whole time we're on set and like
Pretty much,
off of
yeah.
set. Yeah. We're just congregated and talking and chatting and listening to music or whatever. It's great.
Yeah.
It always looks like the cast, and when it shows on film is enjoying working together and having fun, and you can never tell because obviously it's a film, but you get a genuine sense that everybody enjoys working with each other for the most part. And like I said, I've seen a lot of their films and grow, and you guys do have you always have a growing list of people that you use all the time, but they're all family, and they've been in multiple roles and multiple scenes and able to direct. I mean, a lot of your people are doing directing, and the fact that you guys give those opportunities to the actors, like you were saying, Chloe, you learn more than just being in that scene and acting. You get to learn the real process of filmmaking from top to bottom.
It was really great. And I will say, like, I was really intimidated and I didn't know how to like inch my way into the group when it was like the first night on Corn Zombies, because almost everyone in that cast had worked with Acrostar before, and they were all congregated and they all knew each other and they were all very comfortable, and I was like one of the only ones that was the odd out, and I was on that first night and I was like, hey guys, can I like sit here? And they were all like, yeah. And then like 2 minutes later we were all talking about some random thing and I felt like I was at home. Like it was so welcoming.
That was the moment you knew you were part of the family.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so I fit. I fit like a puzzle piece. That's so cool.
Yeah, just got to look out for Myrna. I seen her playing crazy. I don't know. I think there's something dark about Myrna. She's so, she's got that such innocence. She reminds me of Kathy Bates in Misery, because she's such a sweet looking person, but I know there's a dark side to that Myrna. I've seen some of her roles lately.
I do a monologue from Misery. It's good.
Perfect.
It's good.
Misery 2.
It's,
Return of the Myrn.
She's just a multi-talented woman. We
I
never
just
know.
have to get better at staying up late now, because but with both of you guys, like at the horror cons, John's like ready to go. Let's go to this party, and I'm like, like I'm on my feet all day long. It's 11 o'clock.
I couldn't, I can't. I'll talk about it, and I never go anymore. It's like, oh my God, 8:30.
I have ridiculously bad FOMO, so I want to be where everyone else is at, even if my battery's out. I'm like, no, I can go. No, I'm good. I'm coming.
Well, at Scarefest, we were invited to the VIP party by Ari Lehman and Basamp, the first Jason band. And we're like, oh, excited. We went out to eat with my parents. We're like, oh, yeah, let's go. We'll check it out. I'm feeling good. Not tired. I wound up going back to my hotel. My parents outlasted me, and I was crashed out by like 4:11. It's like, man.
I didn't get done with dinner until almost 11. That was the hard thing.
I know.
And then, you start to like mellow a little bit because you got some food in your belly, and you're like, oh, it's really late.
I was like, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock felt like 3 o'clock in the morning. But to be fair, those events and getting everything together by the time you're done with it, it's pretty exhausting at
It's
times.
exhausting just doing the work, because it's all just mental. There's so much mental and involvement in it all. But yeah, I mean, my secret, another energy drink. Never hurt nobody.
I keep Monster in business. I need the
Zombies.
sponsorship, Monster.
Yeah.
I mean, come
For
on.
the zombies, we kept a stocked fridge of energy drinks. That's like one of the main things I remember of that fridge.
Yeah.
There was always an energy drink in there that I grabbed every morning.
I replaced, drinking a gallon of water every day to drinking a gallon of Monsters every day just to function.
I get
What's
it.
in his blood? It looks like a lot of Monster.
Yeah, I've got one right here that I have not fully finished, but
You young.
America runs on Monster, or at least John does.
Monster scares
I
me.
got my water here, tap water.
Well,
So
see,
fancy.
Monster
I've
goes
got
with
my energy
Doomsday's
drink
Krypt,
and
so
my
it was
beer.
bound to happen.
I've got 2 drinks. 2 drinks to keep me up, even though I don't need to be up after this, but I'm going to be.
You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a wrapper and put a Doomsday's Krypt wrapper on it and call it Doomsday's Krypt energy drink. Sell for $7.
Don't let them know.
It's twice as good as Monster.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I'm super. So when do you guys plan on filming, and how long does the campaign go for?
The campaign, let me flip over here, has 19 days left. We are a little under 50% of our goal. So our goal is 15,000. Our goal is not our budget. Our budget is higher than our goal. So we can use all the help we can get. We're going to film for 12 days. We'll do 7 in June and 5 in September. And that will be a wrap then.
I'm working on finding the link so I can post it and put it up there. Here
Yeah,
we go.
I just tell people to go to Indiegogo.com and search for Perfect
And
Soul.
you guys always have, and I gotta say, great perks, really cool perks. I was looking at some, like I said, I'm gonna get on board with.
Yeah, we're gonna introduce one tomorrow, so I'm gonna put out a new clip, and it's gonna have something to do with this.
Oh, hold on. I can't. Well, let me put you back up. I didn't see this because I was looking at this. Hold on.
This.
Ooh, book.
Yeah.
I bet I could guess what it is, but I'm not going to.
Don't get fired before it starts. But yeah, I pulled up the campaign real quick, and I know you guys in a lot of Indiegogos, you got goals. The goal is to raise more money. It's it's not let's get to the goal. It's the goal to get to the next goal and keep the funds going. So even just getting there and filming is one thing. Post production's a whole nother thing. That a film like this, you need the finances to be able to do all those things that come with the fun of filmmaking. The stuff that everybody loves, the money stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's such a cool. You guys always put on really cool campaigns and perks. You guys are almost at $7,000. Almost.
Somebody bought something since this afternoon because the number's higher than it was when I made the last graphic and posted about it. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, we showed up in Indiegogo like newsletter yesterday. I subscribed to their newsletter and I actually opened it and scrolled down. I'm like, oh my God, the Perfect Soul is in there. So I don't know why we got selected to be included in there, but that was cool.
You could call that the perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yes.
The perfect campaign.
I think something so interesting that you guys are doing with your campaign is you guys had that trailer and then you guys are revealing the full scenes. I've never seen that in an Indiegogo, and I think that's really cool. Like, I really like that. It's like something to look forward to for the campaign and people to keep interested. You guys are very good at keeping people intrigued and what you guys are doing.
Oh, thanks.
Well, Myrna Ann puts out a lot and shares and posts a lot. It is a lot of work to, not that it's hard to share stuff, but when you got a lot of things on your plate to keep up with the sharing and keeping it in people's ears, right. Ann does a great job at that.
Yeah, really, and I mean it's no fun to every day ask people for money, but that's my job. And we couldn't make these movies without the help of our contributors and our fans. And we want people to feel like they're part of what we're doing.
Because I think that's so indie filmmaking. I mean, it's not only the filmmakers, but it's also the people who follow and support us. Like we have to show our thanks somehow for the people who keep us going. Yeah. And I think Indiegogos are so good for that.
Well, I say that all the time. I've had, I have a lot of you got indie people on and get to talk to, but I think one of the main things and that really contributes with Indiegogo and fan support is people like you. And when they invest, even if it's a little bit or they share it out, you become part of the film and you become part of the family, because I know how much it means to you filmmakers. If it's, you know, you can't donate money, you're liking and sharing. And when you guys get that, it goes a long way. And I know you guys appreciate it. And then you kind of feel like you're part of the production of the film, you know, whether it's a producer perk or buying a Blu-ray or getting a special shout out or getting your name in the end credits or something. It's a good way for fans who want to get involved in the indie community or indie acting to kind of support these films and maybe have that feeling where you are a part of it. And that's what's great about indie, where, you know, if it's a big movie, you're not really a part of it. You might lucky, you know, get an extra. And I know some people have been in some great films and they were an extra and it's huge. But, you know, when you just kind of start getting an indie and you support some of these projects like Acrostar, it goes a long way, because you do meet a lot of friends and family, whether you're doing a podcast or just liking and sharing or commenting on the posts and just adding that support.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, it's a special thing. I know it's special for a lot of people, because I've had people go, you know, whether it's something on Ann's film or somebody else's film, you know, I just got an acting perk for my son. He's, you know, all excited to get acting, or I just became a producer on this one and support. And they're excited about it. I talked to so many people just so ecstatic that they've learned about indie films and learned about you guys and so excited to be part of these projects. Like I said, whether it's a producer or just having their name in the credits.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things I've been seeing recently, just how excited people are to have a small part in indie filmmaking, just because they love movies so much and they support and love these people who make these indie films so much. It's really, really cool to see. It's like because there's that small community that fully hands-on makes the movie, and then there's that even larger community that makes it happen, basically. And I feel like giving recognition and supporting them as well is so important, because it's just such a sweet thing to witness. It's really, really heartwarming.
I mean, here's a great example of somebody. I see Jimmy Presley there, and he's been such a big supporter in the indie communities and involved. And here he is now, you know, really being in a lot of these projects. He's been in quite a few of them, and so big shout out to Jimmy Presley, who's been in so many different things now and supporting the indie community. So seeing him up there, if you're watching, Jimmy, congratulations, my friend. You've been killing it out there with indie and the support you do. I mean, he's always supporting everybody. Here's another guy who's been out there, one of the big men out there. You know, we got Freddy versus Jason. Which one? I keep changing the title. I want to say we'll call it. Oh wait, I already know. I can't remember the name of the title. Freddy versus Jason. Freddy versus Jason. I'm drawing a total blank, and I don't know why. Resurrection. Freddy versus Jason Resurrection. So thanks, Cody, for coming in and popping in here. He was on the show, one of my good friends. Probably 350 pounds of solid muscle. So if you get on set, you got to be careful of the big man. But one of the nice guys out there. Just I'm Cody.
But yeah, that's another thing. It's like, you can have all this experience, yes, but if you are so kind and so open and so supportive, people might even be more willing to give you a chance to try out acting, because they can teach you. I mean, acting is difficult, but for supporting roles, sometimes you can learn as you go when you're starting out, and you can get better within scene by scene. Like, that is so possible. And so people can be given those chances by just supporting, even just being like, oh, he was so nice and he supported so much and he auditioned and he was good. Like, we can so bring him on just because of this good experience with him. And that's also a big thing, networking in the indie community.
Yeah, but even behind the scenes, right? Like, I mean, when you guys are filming, having an extra stagehand to help out with things and pitch in. And there's, like you said, you even learned, you know, you're an actress, but you learned a lot behind the scenes, like learning some special effects now. I mean, that's what's great about the indie filmmaking for actors, actresses, people who want to get in the business. It's really the perfect opportunity to learn.
100%. And like, yeah, like I was saying, those people who have been so supportive, them being brought on just to, you know, either hold a boom mic or help hold makeup or, you know, just help out in any way they can, because they've been so supportive and they've shown that they're kind of a safe place for indie people to come to because they're so kind and so uplifting, and they haven't, you know, shown any erratic behavior or anything.
I'm going to share the indie campaign here. Oops, I'm making a mess here because I want to put it. I'm going to put it out in the links for you guys,
Okay.
so you guys can check it out. And you know, and honestly, I you know, I've been lucky enough to meet some great people and great filmmakers. Make sure to support Acrostar. They're some of my favorite people. Always get to meet all these new talents they keep bringing on, and such a dear friend. She's such a talent as well. You know, and you guys really do find some of the best talent out there, and you are working with some of the best talent. I've seen you work with, you know, Angel Bradford, who's one of my favorites out there, and you worked with Lynn Lowry. You and her have great chemistry. So support these guys. These guys are doing some amazing thing in film, and all the you know, donations and support they can get from you guys is going to help them make these films even better than they already are, which is awesome. But to have a budget to use, so make sure to support the indie community. Make sure to support Acrostar. You know, you guys deserve it. You guys work really, really hard, and I'm real proud of you. So,
Appreciate it.
do you have anything left to say? I'll give you guys the final words and then we'll end the show.
And
I would just say that probably the easiest way to keep up with what's going on is our Facebook group. So if you go on Facebook, well, if you can just go to acrostarproductions.com, we have links to our social media on there. That's our website. And yeah, check us out, be part of the team. I've met people from all over the world who have contributed to our projects, and I know their names. I thank them individually. You know, I've developed a great network of friends, people who like being in movies, people who used to like to help with campaigns are now making their own movies, which is really cool to see that growth in the industry. And yeah, the indie horror community is a great place to come and do some networking.
It's a lot of fun.
And as an inside voice, I mean, working closely with Acrostar, they are worth the support, the time, the energy. They're worth just like upraising so that they can continue to grow, because they are doing so much for small actors. They're doing so much for actors who are continuously growing. They're giving so many opportunities to so many people learning. And I think that is so important. And there aren't many open indie filmmaking communities that are so willing to let people jump in and do anything, like and help out with anything and learn as much as I do on an Acrostar set. So definitely amazing, and definitely keep supporting them because they're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Joe, the fantastic guests. You know, I mean, it's hard to not have a fun show when you have great guests like Myrna and Chloe. It was awesome meeting you, Chloe.
Yes, it was amazing meeting you too. I'm so happy to be here. I was so excited when Anne messaged me about it. I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Well, if you and Anne knows she's always welcome at a table. If you and Anne are in the same area and you're promoting something, you know you got a seat at the table to talk about Acrostar and whatever you guys do. We're big about supporting you guys. We appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys in the chat.
Yeah, and Steve put a note in there that there we go. He's met and worked with some of the best people ever. So I concur.
Horror community rules. The acting and indie community rules. So thank you, Anne. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, chat. Tomorrow night we got another great indie actress, Jen Nangle's coming on. I got to meet her at Slash and Bash in person last year. Really, really nice, really cool. Got to meet her mom too. We talked about moms. My mom wasn't able to make it, but I'm looking forward to catching up to her tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. Same time, same channel. And peace out, guys. Thanks again, everybody.
All right, thanks, John. Good night.
Thank you.